I discussed this crowdfunding campaign earlier, the unsuccessful one that raised a significant amount of money, but I do want to give them credit for one thing. They did pre-sell something that I think probably was not in their best interest to do so. They burned a lot of customers, did not deliver units, made a lot of people angry, and some people threatened to sue them. But the one thing I can say, not only did they raise money, but they really did raise an audience. They had good video. They had good frequently asked questions. They had a lot of comments, and they had a team dedicated to running this campaign the right way. I got to give them credit. Much as I have disparaged this campaign because, well, I'm an attorney and I notice that there's a lot of people threatening to sue them, unlikely to be successful as that is, that's a real harm to the brand. But setting that aside, they actually did do something right that I want all of you folks to at least be aware of. And you may not be able to achieve this, and certainly not to this level, but I do want you all to be aware of the fact and the principle of using a crowdfunding campaign to find who your audience is and entice them and get them in. I would have to say they did at least a decent job of that, but they overpromised and underdelivered, and it was avoidable. This was a preventable situation. They didn't hire me as a crowdfunding consultant, and I doubt that they feel the need to do so, but they should have hired somebody and potentially gone about it a different way. Boy, it's hard to say. The company still exists, and they do sell and move units of product, but I don't know how well it's doing. It's really hard to say. Having this type of negative, extreme level of hostility, very open and available on the internet, I gotta think that that does not help their public profile of the company. But I'm not sure. Maybe someone who's familiar with this or someone from that company can make a comment saying that I'm totally wrong, and in fact they're really happy with how everything came out, despite the flaming and the vitriol in the comment section. Maybe they're about ready to overcome every single argument and justification I use. I encourage them to contact me and say, Mr. Tanner, look how wrong you were. I will listen, I will take them seriously, but from an outside perspective, just as an observer, it sure looks to me like this one didn't go real well. And again, that's giving them every possible credit I can think of for using the platform right, and also really developing their audience through the platform. That's what I want all of you to do. I just don't want you to have this outcome.
Folks, we have here an example of a crowdfunding campaign that is someone is attempting to sue them for misrepresentation and fraud, or I'm not sure what the offense is, but for taking their money and never delivering anything, and yet continuing to promise them that they will deliver a product, and number two, refusing to honor their request for a refund. Now, folks, we all need to understand that when you put money into a crowdfunding campaign, you're not entitled to a refund. They may give it as a way of preserving their marketplace and their reputation, but they're not required to. But in this case, this contributor, David Rogerson, wants to serve papers on them and figure out where their address is and sue them in some type of Canadian court. And they're trying to avoid him and not responding to him, and he's eventually going to find an address and probably sue them. I don't know how well that lawsuit will go, though, because the implied contract in a crowdfunding campaign is that they're donations, and you hope that they actually reach and build the product. And outside of outright fraud, intentional bait and switch, many crowdfunding campaigns fail because they figure out it just costs more than they thought to build this, and they can't do it. I don't know that that's an actionable offense. I don't think it is. I think that in the end, those people would just have to admit their money's gone, and the people who funded the campaign will have to take the reputational damage. This is something I want to see avoided for my clients and for the St. Petersburg College students that I'm working with. We don't want to see you end up like this, even with good aspirations, and even with the fact that this campaign netted $109,000 Canadian. That's a lot of money. People wanted these shoes. They may still want them. But one thing you've done is alienate your particular audience. On the other hand, they've proved that there is a marketplace for these, so some other shoe manufacturer with better resources and a competitive nature probably could now take or at least incorporate a lot of this idea, do it better, and take their customers away from them. Depending on what patents they filed, if any, and I don't see any mention of patents in here, and even if they had patents, I'm not sure it would necessarily do them any good. Just having patents is not a guarantee that you can use them and assert them in court. So my thought is this particular campaign got into a lot of trouble, attempted to build something that was more expensive than they thought, and failed, and got a lot of flame and very high degree of negativity in their comment section of their Kickstarter campaign. Comments which will never ever go away and cannot be erased.
Thanks for watching. Let me know any other topics you want me to discuss. This YouTube channel is to help you. This is for information. I want to hear from you and I want to know what things are on your mind.